Hey boys and girls, welcome back to the Westfield Art Room. So today we are going to work on finishing up a project that you started last week. This is our last week of remote instruction, and so yay, after this week I will be seeing you back in the classrooms. Excited about that, but for this week we need to finish up what we had started last week. So last week I asked you to watch a video about an artist named Grandma Moses. She was called Grandma Moses because she didn't start painting until she was very elderly. She was a grandma when she started. And she is one of America's most beloved folk artists, meaning she taught herself how to paint. She did not go to art school or learn how to do it from a professional. She did it by doing it, and that's a little bit what kids do. You learn by doing. So this is another example of Grandma Moses's work. This is called Taking in the Laundry, and it is a landscape. And if you can see, the sky is kind of gray and brown. Rain and a storm is coming, and so the people in the foreground are working fast to get in the laundry so it doesn't get wet. The horse and buggy are going fast, trying to get to where they're going before the storm comes. And so this is a landscape, an old-timey landscape. So last week I taught you how to draw your landscape. We talked about the importance of a horizon line. That is the spot where the sky comes down and the earth comes up, and it meets at that horizon line. In Surry County, where we are, we often see hills and mountains in our horizon line. We live right at the edge of the mountains. So many places you see a bumpy horizon line. If we were out in Kansas or Nebraska, out in the Great Plains, that horizon line would most likely just be a perfectly flat line. But we have hills here. We live in the foothills. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to color in your details. I asked you to put in all of those nice details in the farm scene, schools, barns, churches, animals, all the details, okay? And so that you're going to take you're going to color your details. I'm going to make a barn. This is a little bit of an orangey red. Your barn does not have to be red by any means, but that is usually what we think of when we think of a barn. So we're going to take our time and color in all of our details. Okay, this is going to take you a little while. If you have not drawn your landscape yet, you will need to go back to last week's lesson and probably revisit that. This really is a two-part lesson. Not all artwork can be done as quickly as one lesson. I'm doing my tree trunks brown. So you're going to color in all of your detail, okay? That would be what I would recommend that you do first. Okay, so do you remember how last week I said do not draw anything in the sky? Okay, I said leave the sky blank. And I said that because there's a couple things that kids often do that we need to kind of avoid. One is they draw a little smiley face sun, usually up in the corner, okay? So we're not going to do that for our landscape today. And they draw their clouds as big puffy balls of cotton. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a way today to have the sun and have some clouds, but not to do them quite in that cartoony kind of a way. So I'm going to take my yellow, because the sun is yellow, and instead of drawing it with a pencil or a marker like I've done, I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to do a swirly circle. And it's not going to be solid. It's going to be kind of darker in the middle and then swirl out and around, okay? And it looks a little bit more like the sun really looks. You rarely see the sun when you're looking outside in the sky. We avoid looking at the sun usually because it's kind of too bright and glary and hurts our eyes. So we rarely actually see the sun when we are outside looking. We are more likely to see it at sunrise or sunset when it's below that horizon line so that the actual brightness does not hurt our eyes. Okay? And if we want some clouds, let's take a white crayon and we are going to color in some white. It's hard to see and that's okay. And we're just going to kind of color in, making little circular marks. And we do a little bit of that. Okay. And now I'm going to show you a little trick for the sky. Okay. First of all, the sky is going to fill in the whole of the paper from the top right down to that horizon line. Okay. So I'm going to move that. So we're going to color in from the top all the way down to where, in my case, it's the hills. And we're gonna kind of try to miss the sun, but even if we go a little bit into the sun, that's okay. That makes it look a little realistic. Now, you can go back over the top just a little bit to make it a little bit darker at the top. It is bluer as you look up higher in the sky. Okay. Now I'm going lightly, but now look, where I have done the white waxy crayon, the blue does not stick nearly as well. And so you get those light, wispy clouds to show some clouds that aren't like cartoony marshmallow puff clouds. Okay, you can kind of see where the cloud stays free there, okay? So you're gonna finish coloring the sky all the way down to that line called the horizon line. I'm gonna move my little magnets down. So I've got my sky put in there. You can see how the sky comes from the top of the paper to that horizon line. Okay, so I'm gonna make our mountains kind of a bluish purple color. When you look off at the mountains, if you've ever noticed it, even though they're covered with green trees most of the year, they don't look so green. That's why it's called the Blue Ridge Parkway, because they look kind of a purplish, bluish gray, and that's because of the haze that we see in the sky. We can't see the details of the trees unless we're up close. And so the Blue Ridge Mountains kind of have a cast that makes them look kind of a bluish, purplish gray. So I'm gonna color that in. I want to color the whole area in. There's really not going to be much of our paper that's left white. Okay. And then I can start coloring in the ground. Now this is showing my fields. So I'm not going to make them green because that's going to be like where the fields are. That's going to be like some dirt. So I'm going to color those kind of a brownish color. It's like the crops have been tilled up, but nothing more has been planted. So that little area is like the dirt color. And our dirt around here is a very reddish brown kind of color. And then, let's see, I'm gonna find a darker green back here and start coloring the areas that are the grass or the fields. Color in the places that are the ground. And you can use several different shades of green for this. If you want to make it in the fall, a fall landscape, you might want to add some gold, kind of golden tones to it because the grass isn't near as green when it's the fall and winter. Okay. You can use some yellow green. Sometimes that would show like fields of yellow ochre or something like that. Oh, look, that's kind of my barnyard. So I probably would want to do that brown, like the dirt. Okay. And you're going to work on coloring in your whole drawing. I'm going to work on this and get it done for next week's meet so I can show you how we got it done. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. If not, just watch our videos and be working, and be looking forward to seeing you back in class soon. Bye-bye, boys and girls.